Some trips change what you see, but some people change how you see the world. Today, I'm joined by three friends who didn't just shape my travels, they shaped the way I teach, the way I connect, and the way I experience culture. Together, we built an exchange program that transformed us, transformed our students, and our lives. This episode is a love letter to the people who made travel personal. Welcome, everybody, to Cheryl's Travel Blueprint. I'm Cheryl, and I want to introduce you to three special people in my life. We have with us Ale, who's here in the United States, Loida and Victor, who are both in Madrid visiting us on the podcast. So, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm so glad you were able to take time out of your busy days. I know you guys are all busy. So thank you for uh, spending some time with us.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl, for
Oh, you're
making this
welcome.
possible.
Absolutely. Anything for you guys. So why don't we go around and I'll give you guys a chance just to say who you are and a little bit about your background in education. Do we want to start with Ali?
Sure. So, I was lucky enough to teach next door to you for over a decade. I was Spanish teacher, both middle for a little bit and high school for longer. And we were lucky enough to have a lot of adventures together and do this wonderful exchange.
Okay.
Well, my turn. Should I go, Ben?
Sure.
Yeah, bueno, pues, as I'm a teacher as well, as you said at the beginning. I teach in Madrid. I teach English, and I've been a high school teacher for 15 years already. Right now, I'm more involved into principal issues and stuff. But well, obviously in love with education as you all are. And bueno, I as Alejandra said, no, I was lucky enough to meet Cheryl like 10 years ago at least, through bueno, we will talk about it later, but that's all.
And I'm Victor. I'm a teacher also in Madrid. I was teaching for like more than 20 years in a private school in Madrid and then decided to change. And then I'm teaching actually nowadays in a public school. This is my third year in the public system in Spain. Well, I'm happy to be here with you also and share my experiences.
Okay. Well, why don't we go back and talk about how the four of us met? So I guess it's really easy. Ali and I were teaching together, and the way I think I don't know if I was already studying in Madrid when I met you, Ali. I think I might have been.
Yeah, you were, because I think you were maybe finishing up your program or close to
Possibly.
the end of it. Because I remember I had only been teaching there for a couple of months, and you had mentioned the idea of an exchange.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, so it was definitely towards the end. And so the way everything happened, I was studying Spanish literature in Madrid at St. Louis University. And one of the things that they asked us to do while we were there was a teacher from Blanca de Castilla whose husband was a researcher, and he asked the students, he wanted to know how foreigners acquired Spanish. So he had, I guess he was doing a study. So and he knew one of my professors. So he came to our course, he came to our class, and we took a test for him. And that's how I met him. And then somehow he must have asked me a question about if there's anything else if there's anything else he could do as far as helping the teachers. And I just asked him about English teachers in Spain that were interested in an exchange kind of a situation. So I met his wife, but then she left, and I think Loida took that position. And so I reached out to Loida about doing some sort of exchange. And then that's how this all came about. And then, as you said, you hopped on. And I think, Loida, you can help me explain this. I think you wanted to have another teacher as part of the exchange. Is that right?
What I do remember is definitely that it was the teacher that I replaced that gave me your contact information, along with a pack of exams that I had to correct. But she handled it as well. Your your contact info and said, well, yeah. And in the first place, what she's talked about was about letter exchange. Yes, because that's the way it started, no? And then it grew up to something else, no? But I don't remember exactly what you said about having another teacher involved. I don't really remember that. But at the very beginning, it was only me who somehow promoted the program and stuff. It was the school that thought that it was important to have another teacher involved because for all type of matters, no? Not only the school itself, but logistics and stuff. No, it's better to have two people involved, so the burden so is less for each other. No, so and I thought it was great. I mean, obviously, now that now that I work as a principal, I do see how important it is to have at least two people involved in this sort of projects that are so huge and big. No.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I think it's so great that that the four of us met and that we work so well together. I think that was the important that's part of the reason that I think that the program lasted as long as it did. Because I've seen some other exchange programs where, even in our own school, where the teachers didn't seem to have a special relationship with the teachers that they were working with across the pond. And I thought that was interesting because I think it should be natural that you get along with the people that you're working with. And, I just think it makes things better. So, what do you think made this exchange special compared to typical school visits?
Mm.
Because I think we just had some kind of secret sauce or something that made it just really special.
I mean, to me, what makes this exchange now that we don't have this exchange anymore at the school, and we do have what we do have are trips. No, the students go, but is through somehow is through an agency that arranges things with families, and families are paid for that for hosting our students. Compared to the type of exchange that we did, the homestay being totally free and being actually out of curiosity and because the families really want to host is what makes it super special. Because we do also have a French exchange that is sort of the same, but what makes it as well, or program I think is even more special, is that they change every year the teachers they work with because it's through a European program. So you don't choose the teachers you work with. So somehow our homestay program or exchange program had everything, all type of components that made it very special. So really out of curiosity, out of I want to host, and the fact that the four of us got along well and we knew each other and we could, and that is important because, I mean, compared to what I see nowadays, also.
Yeah, I think there was a really high degree of trust. I think we all trusted each other a lot. I think we all really focused on what each child needed and what would fit well, how to match children well and match families well. And I don't think you could have had those kinds of conversations without a really high degree of trust with each other. I also feel like we had a really good balance of how much to have them in school and how much to give them other options. And even within the school experience, I feel like we did a really good job of saying what is something that they wouldn't typically see in their normal school day. Let's make sure, but that's really normal for us. Let's make sure that they experience that. And I think Loida and Victor did a beautiful job of that. And I think we tried really hard to do that as well. So um, I mean, I just think that I can't say enough great things about what Loida and Victor did and you, Cheryl, because I think it's just exceptional.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's the personal aspect what made our exchange program different. I think that's the key. It's not only that we get along well, but I don't know how to say very good in English, but when you do things because you like it, because you love it, when you find families that want to do it just because it's good for the kids, not because they want to earn money, and then when you do things for free, and the amount of things that you get is like typical, but the amount of things that you get, it's huge, no? So I think we all four have fun, a lot of fun together. So that's what made us to keep on working together in this program and looking for families that want to share this kind of change. So because I remember having the meetings in the school and telling families that we were not an agency, that we were doing this because we love it, because we believe in the way we do things. And that was the key, I think. And we keep this for more than 10 years, I think, kind of or less. So nothing lasts forever, but that was a record because uh, I don't know any exchange program in the way we did this, or maybe it lasts 1 or 2 years, but we made it possible for 10 years based on our job and based on doing things well, the way we thought it was okay, it was correct. I don't know if I can explain very well.
No, yeah, that's perfect. I'm thinking back. Do you all think, can you all remember some of the fun things that have happened on some of our trips? I'm thinking back to just some of the silly things that have happened with our students. I remember, for example, walking through the park I think we were in Retiro, and it must have been really hot. And the Spanish students were just, they were so funny because I think it was just too hot for them or something because they were just like, por favor. And I just remember it was just funny. It was just, they were so different than our students, I think. I think it's cultural. Did you guys think that the American students were culturally different? Did you remember any incidents where that stood out? They might not, but I just thought it was just there were just so many things that set our students apart from each other, which was great because they got to see um, how teenagers are in different places.
Right. I mean, if, from our maybe Victor and I maybe we have, but from our, I think I remember that Victor and I we kept commenting about how mature your students seem to us compared to our Spaniards
Really?
students. I mean, from a Spanish perspective, I don't know if Victor agrees, but that is part of your culture. It's part of the way you, even though you might not think so, compared to Spanish students, definitely do. They do. They are much more independent and they were able to cope with difficulties better than our students or Spanish students. Our Spanish students are more baby fed somehow by the families.
Well,
But
I remember our students always saying how how cared for they felt by families. They fold my clothes
Absolutely.
for me. They, my breakfast is just sitting there. They were always so, like shocked and just like, oh my, like, they just felt so cared for. So very, very cared for by Spanish families. It was always really lovely. Um, and I remember always thinking, I always think about when the Spaniard came, and I think they were doing a soccer unit in Fayed at our high school. And it was my students came in and they're like, oh, we played soccer and it did not go well. And just the level of athleticism was completely not the same level of athleticism, I think. And so that was a really funny thing. Did they come during homecoming once too? Did you guys come during homecoming once? I feel like, or it was
I
near
once
homecoming.
with
Yeah, because
because
I was.
some
Oh,
students were asking others to go with them to
yeah,
the but I don't remember it was at that time that
yes, yeah.
it took place, but yeah.
Yes, I remember that. I remember them experiencing a football game, and that was really fun. Um,
I mean, for our students, it was great to see that they were quite fluent in English.
yes. Oh my
So,
gosh,
and
yes.
that they saw that, well, all this effort pays at the end, no? Because it's true that in the Spanish system, uh, mm, English is all through the curriculum from the very first from infantil, from primary and nursery. So it's true that I mean at least it's a relief for them or it's rewarding for them to see that well, more or less when they get to a foreign country, they can more or less manage. No, I do understand that in your system is different because they take a Spanish just in high school, but as an English teacher, it was I like that. I like thinking back. I like that to see or for them to see that it was useful. No, all those classes that they've taken, all the effort that the families are making.
Well,
So
when I always thought that Spanish students were so fearless with language. They were so fearless with language in a way that I think our students sometimes would hesitate. They would get there, but but I felt like Spanish students were always, I don't know if you felt that way too, Cheryl, but just like they were just gonna try and then figure it out as they went along. And it was really cool. I think it helped our students be more vulnerable and more willing to try the language, to try Spanish, because they saw your students being so open to trying English.
Well, that was one
Absolutely.
of the funny things. See how they communicate in different languages. How the Spanish speak English and then and the Americans try to speak Spanish. No, and that was funny. And also
Yeah.
funny the cultural differences. I remember first time we go there that we were waiting for the families to pick up some of the students, and then one student came driving, and our Spanish student was like, "Wow, he's driving." And your students tell us, our student, "Okay, go." We go with the guy, and our students was looking at like trying to ask for permission to go in that car because he he really didn't believe that he could go with a students of 16 or 17 years old driving in a car. That was like crazy for the Spanish, but I still remember the Spanish student face, like looking Loida and me, like asking for permission to go. Uh, that was funny. That was funny.
Uh, well, before we keep going, if you're enjoying this conversation about the power of people and travel, take a moment to subscribe to the podcast. It really helps the show grow and ensures you never miss an episode filled with stories, culture, and hidden gems around the world. So, can you tell us? I think we should go around the room, so to speak. Um, can you tell us who is a person who changed your travel style?
Wow.
That's a tough one, huh?
No, to me, it's not a tough one because it was you.
Really?
Yeah. That is super simple. You along with your small backpack or with your small luggage and suitcase that I kept thinking. It's always you are always in my mind whenever I pack a suitcase. But by the way, I got a suitcase as small as yours. That was one of the things that I got like a couple of years ago. That I asked for Christmas, and it's always that I always keep in my head. I mean, how light you can pack. For I mean Cheryl, and it's something that I keep in my head all the time whenever I pack now. And I am getting better and better. I mean,
Oh, you're right.
regarding 2 weeks ago, I went away for the weekend, and I just took, and even didn't take my suitcase. It was just a backpack. And I kept thinking, Cheryl will be very proud of me. It's just
I am.
me now. Um, so somehow, I mean, in a way, in that aspect, has been you, right?
Oh, wow. Thank you. And now I don't know how many of you use these, but have you seen the vacuum seals that you can do? Like you can put them in a bag and put your clothes in a bag and just suck all the air out. And they make those for suitcases, so you can make it even smaller. I might do a video about that soon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's you too, Cheryl. That's where I was like hesitating because I was like, I don't know if I can give that answer. But yeah, I think you as well. I don't think I would have, in no world would I have ever done something like this or even tried if it weren't for you. In no world would I have ever taken the metro and done all that walking and tried to go to all these different places that I'd never been to or even heard of. I mean, I think every exchange was so different because it depended on what the children were interested in and wanted to see, and being able to tailor it that way. I think even that in itself was so speaks volumes about like how endlessly curious you are and how how fearless you are with travel. Um, so I think about all those things, and then little practical pieces that you help me with as a traveler that I still use in my own daily life or when I'm talking to my own children and we're visiting places. Lloyd, I love you said the thing about the suitcase because I just had that conversation with one of my own children who's traveling to New York. And I said, okay, we're gonna roll our clothes and teaching her how to roll clothes because Cheryl taught me how to do that. So yeah.
So
You guys are too kind.
gonna be 3 votes for you, Cheryl.
Oh, no.
But I would say for the motivation that you apply in every trip and in every exchange that we do and that we did, and I will say that we still keep in contact thanks you, Sherry, because you are the one who make us to be this del pegamento que nos hace permanecer juntos, creo. I think. I don't know how you say.
Aw.
Yeah, the glue.
Oh, that is so I wasn't fishing for compliments, I swear, when I asked that question. But my answer to that is I think all three of you, in your own different ways have changed my style. I can think of just elements. Ale, your wit and your determination. You've got, just the perfect ideas for helping keep us on track when we're planning all of our trips, and you know tactical brilliance, I guess we could call it.
Thank you. That's very kind.
And Loida, I don't even know how to put it into words. Your organization, and I mean you and Ale have a lot in common. Just having that organization, just very exactly what you want, how you want to see something, and you do not give up when it comes to the planning of, like, maybe it's a field trip, whatever it is. I'm almost sidetracking. I'll talk about that later because we're going to talk about that winery visit that we went on that time with Brittany. I don't know if you remember that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm digressing. And Victor, the pictures, the photography.
Mm.
Um, I never knew. I always forget to take pictures, and you're always on top of that. So you guys, I would say all three of you, and that's why we make a great team because we all bring something different to the equation. I think so. I don't know.
No, what Alejandra said, no, and Victor as well, that is to that the enthusiasm, no, and the dedication that you put into the friendship that we have, into all the travels that we've taken, no, is that what is what keeps us together, like Victor said, no, the glue.
Ah,
So
I hope we'll be doing this in another 20 years, for another 20 years or more, because we're gonna last longer than that.
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, um, you know what? Can you think of any moments that changed the way you teach? I think of, like in the areas of either bilingualism. It doesn't have to be just these areas. Bilingualism, culture shock, empathy, those kinds of things. Do you think any of our? I think everything that we've done as part of our exchange experience probably has, at least for me, I can say, has changed the way I teach.
Absolutely. I think there's a tendency to forget the challenges that come along with language acquisition. I think there's a tendency to forget how hard it is to learn and what to do when you don't know how to communicate and you desperately want to. And I think every time we went to Spain, or Loida and Victor came to us, there were always moments where I knew I couldn't communicate the way I wanted to.
Mhm.
And it always really helped me when I was teaching something, reminding students, hey, it's not just you, it's me too. I'm still trying to figure this out too. We're doing it together. And
Mhm.
just kind of that sense of camaraderie and staying humble in the language.
Very much so. Very much so. I don't know.
Well, for me,
Bueno, sorry, go ahead, Victor.
okay. The connection with the students is something that I learned from you, Ale. Uh, in the way you treat them, the way you connect with them, the way we all, but especially you, connect with the students during the trip. That's something that made it very special for me because you've got the opportunity of treat the students in a different different aspect, different moments in their life. You like kind of become your parents for a days, and their el cariño, no, and the way you treat them. You three, but especially I need to say that you, Alejandra, the way you ch- bromeas con ellos, and that that was all something that I was loved of you.
Oh, thank you.
So I try to copy you in that aspect because I think that is very important to connect with the students, especially when you work with teenagers.
Yeah, thank you. It's very sweet.
Yeah, well, what I would say, I agree with what Victor said. No, I mean, that was something that really um I found different from you, Alejandra, and as well Cheryl, the way she treated the students and stuff. Nothing that I had seen in the Spanish system, or at least the way Spanish teachers treated students, which is or it used to be in a more old-fashioned way. there was more distance between the student and the teacher, no? Um, but it hasn't been only you. I mean, there has been a lot of teachers that I have come across, and I've learned things from them when going into the classes. And this is something that our system didn't have before, but these last couple of years, we have been, at least in our school, we have been going into all the teachers' classes. It has become part of, or is becoming part of our culture at the school, and that is so rewarding and so enriching for us. I mean, and that is something that has changed in Blanca de Castilla, no? Also being able to go into other classes, something that didn't happen before. So I'm learning, I'm still learning a lot. Like every single, like 2 weeks ago, I went into one of my colleagues' classes, and I love it. I love what I saw. So, and I'm learning from that. So it's not just only a teacher. It's been many teachers that have inspired me and has changed my way of teaching, and it's still changing. It changes. Like there is not a year that is the same. That I don't feel that I'm learning and I'm growing as a teacher. So
Very cool. On that topic of teaching and learning, what are some things that shocked you about the other system, like Spaniards seeing the Americans system? Were there any culture shocks for you? And I would ask the same thing, like Ali and I can address what we thought were surprising too, I suppose. So can you think of things that observing each other's systems that was just kind of shocking to you?
mm, bueno, kind of shocking to me, and it still is the fact that you students choose somehow they have a say on what to study in the American system. I mean,
Mm.
up to a certain extent. No, I know that there are like core subjects like English, maths that they have to take, but there is a certain point where they start choosing, and then you can have in the same class a student who is 14 years and a student who is 16 years old, because it's not about the age. Up to extent as well. It's about the level that they have on that subject. So that is completely different from the Spanish system, that they have to be in a certain class. The subjects are somehow the same for everybody. And it is a matter of their age. What decides, what makes them be in that class is their age. It's not their level. So for us, it's another planet, the American system for us. So, bueno, yeah, I don't know if Victor agrees with me or he has some other shocks. But
Well, every culture adapts their system, the educational system to their culture, and I think that's what happens in Spain and in the US. So for me, it was very shocking how optional your system is, as Loida said, and I invite you in that aspect. Mm, it's different also, even the schedule. I mean, in the how you organize your schedule, your classes, and then you finishes at about midday, and then you spend the whole afternoon or the evening playing sports or doing different activities. And for me, it was also surprising that almost every student was practicing something, some sport or some activity after the school, no? And that's something that I think was very positive, very, very positive. Well, and and also as Loida said at the beginning of the conversation, how mature they become when you leave we let the students to choose anyway that much. I think we protect them so much that we don't let them choose the options till a very late age, I think. So, but still, we've got also things that for sure surprised you, and that you think that are very good. So I think depends on the culture so much.
Mhm.
I'm curious to hear your response, Cheryl.
Well, I would say I think one of the things, and I know Loida said something about thinking that our students seemed more mature, but I would almost say I felt like the Spaniards seemed more mature than our students. Maybe because part of it is I thought they had. And I know you said that you thought that the American students had more independence. It feels like the Spaniards had more independence
Agreed.
to me
Yes, I agree
than the
wholeheartedly.
Americans. And I say that because when you look at like when you go to a place like Madrid, the Americans could do not whatever they wanted, but they had transportation. Whereas when you guys came to the United States, you didn't have the ability to go somewhere on your own like our kids could do. Like I'm sorry, like you could when you were in Madrid because we don't have our public transportation is just so spotty. It's just not that great. And if you don't have a car, then you don't have any you have to rely on somebody else. And so I just thought that made the Spanish kids more it just made them to me, I felt like they were more independent.
Yes,
I
I
don't
thought
know.
so. I thought so too. That's what I was gonna say too. Like just a higher level of like, I guess autonomy. I remember our students always being so shocked to be like, yeah, we went to Corte Inglés and we went to 5 different places and we just took the metro the whole time. And it always feeling very like, oh yeah, everything is so accessible. It's so easy. And the way your students navigated that in a way that I think our students would hesitate to do that. Even being able to drive their car somewhere, it was like, it just a very different level of independence and autonomy. So, um, the other thing, which is so silly, but the other thing I think of always is how they called you by your first name. And I remember the first
Oh
time
yeah.
our students heard that, they just like were like, oh, and then they looked right at us like, well, look, oh no, can you hear me? Yeah. But the first time that
And
happened, oh, okay. The first time they heard them call you by your first name, they looked right at us, very excited at the possibility of being able to do that too, and just how rebellious they felt. And Cheryl and I had the opportunity to connect with a former student recently, and she said, "I feel really weird calling you Ale. I feel really weird calling you that." This is really funny. It's so silly, but I just remember them just being fascinated that
Mhm.
you were called by your first name.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm going to also add just their athletic ability. Like every kid seems to know how to play soccer. I don't know if there's a sport. I mean,
Yes.
that all kids just universally know how to do. It was just amazing.
But so well. Like so well.
So
I
well.
mean,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know.
To be scared of this thing.
Ways.
Uh, yeah, but those were just some of the things that I thought were surprising and interesting about the differences between the students. Those definitely stand out. So, and it goes without saying that just all the stories that we're talking about, I mean, I could go on and on. I can think of just so many funny just taking the kids shopping even. Just things like that. Going to a grocery store was like a field trip
Oh
because
my
it was so
gosh. Yeah.
different. Like for example, I didn't know that you could eat barnacles until I was in Spain. I don't know if that's common, if it's popular, but seeing barnacles in the store, and for the students to see that too, and to take them shopping, and just to get to do that kind of stuff. That was so fun.
Yeah,
They know what is barnacles.
the ham.
Can you
and
translate that?
What's that?
What is barnacles? What you said? Sorry.
Oh, what's the word for barnacles? I can describe what they are because I can't remember the word. I can't remember the word in Spanish, but they stick to the bottom of ships.
Uh,
They look metallic on the outside.
See, this is a great example.
This is a learning moment.
I'm like, I don't know what a barnacle is in Spanish.
I'm gonna find out because
But it's something that you can eat.
yes.
Alright. Okay.
so, algo marisco.
I think
I guess it's somehow seafood.
excede.
Ah, peces. All right. Okay. Okay. Oh my. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something I didn't know you could eat. Yeah, well, and just watching the kids, when they were just experiencing different things, and probably being rude without knowing it. When we were like at the grocery store, like you don't have to put on a glove before you touch the produce, the fruit in the market, and we would get looked at funny sometimes because we were just doing things differently, and I think we didn't know how to, like, when you buy fruit. I don't know. It was something within the buying process that we did wrong. And then remember all of the fresh juice, like at the store, just to squeeze your own orange juice. I mean, those are things that just stand out in my mind as just really silly little things, but really fun.
No, you made me realize that we use olive oil for everything. It wasn't until I heard that from you that I do realize that now. Like, okay, it's true. We
Oil.
even bread. Venga, why? Why do you have to put olive oil on bread? Why do you have to? Yeah, it's true that we use olive oil for everything. Spaniards, we won't be able to survive without our oil. So yeah.
Oh,
Remember that time in the Mercado San Miguel when we tried you to eat paella and Alejandra that said that she couldn't because the strings were looking at her.
yes, definitely. Food presentation is definitely different with the eyes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh, one time this was not on one of our it wasn't when we were doing the exchange. It was probably before that. I took my students on a field trip, and we went to the bull ring. We went to a bullfight, and some of the girls didn't want to stay because they just didn't like the idea of bullfighting, and they just wanted to leave. So I took them out of the stadium, but we took a wrong turn, and we accidentally walked past where they were butchering a bull.
So you were just trying to avoid that?
Oh my God. This just They were horrified with my eye left, and then I saw that. So
Oh, that's
it was
wow.
quite interesting.
Oh, why?
Oh. But anyway, but things like that, all of those things just really, I think, they just shaped all of our lives in so many ways, just all of these experiences that we had. So those are some other things that I'm thankful for, that you guys were part of that. And, I wish that we could have continued that exchange forever. It would have been nice, even if it was just the four of us for the exchange.
No, I mean, definitely, Cheryl, I still have families whose whose kids might were involved in that I might have the smallest children at at my classes, or they are still at school. They're the youngest, no? And some of them, I still remember the exchange, and they asked me about why don't you have this type of exchange again, no? And it's something that I do have now I have another contact, a former language assistant that now she's teaching in the States. And we are gonna see if we are able to do something like that. No, we'll see. But it's true that it takes that you really need to connect, no, and you really need to, which somehow I do, but still, it's something that I wouldn't mind taking over again. Maybe if I am not a vice principal or whatever anymore, because I mean, to be involved in such an exchange again, I need a lot of time. But maybe when I end up well in this position, I will take it again, and I will make an effort to work something out like that.
That would be
I
great.
think it's
I would
really
love
worth
to
it
jump
for
in.
the students, especially. For the students, has nothing to do. So it really, I don't mind going through all the work again,
Mhm.
because
It was definitely a labor of love. I feel like
yeah.
it was definitely something. It was a lot of hard work, but it was so worthwhile
No,
for
from
sure.
from that, I do know that this type of things, again, I mean, I'm convinced that this type of things really work, and they can make connections for forever. And you are going beyond the textbook, and you are really showing the students that it makes sense to study a language, no, and just to be open to the culture, to spend a couple of weeks with another family is just so culturally enriching, that is worth it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's the that's what just makes this all, we all are like-minded, and so we just all have the same goals in mind, and I think that's
You
just
know
what
what is
made.
one thing that they asked to visit is in
What?
this new one, because I was talking to the teacher today about this future exchange, El Bernabeu. That is always something that they want to visit when they come here.
Oh, really?
El Estadio Santiago. Did you go to visit that with your
We did.
students?
We did.
You did,
Mhm.
right?
We did once. Mhm.
You did once, so it's a must. They were telling me if there is not that visit, it's not gonna be possible to the exchange, but that visit has to be a must. And I was like, okay, okay. This time is with Los Angeles, so this is gonna be very farther away.
Oh,
But so we will make it to the studios, to the Los Angeles.
that's an interesting place to go, a more interesting city than Milwaukee.
No, 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 no. I have great memories from Milwaukee.
Oh, wow.
Memories, Cheryl.
And Chicago, yeah.
Chicago.
Chicago.
So no, no, no.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to share all of those things together, that we had those memories, and you never know what the future will bring. Maybe it'll bring us back together again at some point. Like I would love to, like, if you ended up doing that again and ended up in LA, I would love to come out and see you there. So,
Sure.
of course. Thank you for joining us on this heartfelt journey through friendship, culture, and the people who shaped our travels. If today's stories made you smile, inspired you, or reminded you of someone who changed your own life, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And stay tuned. More stories, more destinations, and more cultural conversations are coming your way right here on Cheryl's Travel Blueprint.